Hello, everyone. I am so excited for this Healers in Healthcare show. I have not been on with you in quite some time, so hello. I am so excited for not only being back live, because I don't think I've come on live in a while, but also for the person that I am interviewing today, because she is truly a light worker, a healer. Hi, Sujin. Yes, I see a bunch of people joining now. We tried to go live on my other app. Yes, okay, there we go. But it wasn't working, so here we go. Approve. So we're gonna bring. Okay, keep live. Send invite. Okay, let's see if we can bring Jen on. Let's see if this works. All right, we are adding her in. Oh, yes, it worked. Okay, cool. So this just goes to show, right? When you're an entrepreneur, you have to pivot, because we tried that other way and it was not working. So yes, and I can see you clearly too. So try to, yes, Priscilla, there you are. Awesome.
Thank
Try
you.
to talk.
Can you hear me? You got me
Yes.
now.
Perfect.
Yay.
Okay, so
Make sure you
eCam
can see my
Live was
shirt.
not our friend today, so we're coming on the old school way on our phone. And if you are just joining us, let us know where you're tuning in from, what state. You can let us know. We had this really fun exercise at the Healers in Healthcare conference that was, I'm fabulous because, and then you had to post something funny. So whatever you want to share today, Priscilla, you can join in too. I'm fabulous because I live in Pittsburgh and it's sunny out. Like literally whatever you want to say. So I always like to bring the fun and just really elevate the energy. And what better of a guest to have than this amazing soul who, how long have we been connected, Jen? A year or so? Probably a
Oh,
little bit more than that.
yeah. Longer than that, maybe a couple years.
Yeah. So we've been connected for a while now. And when I met her, I was just really blown away by her beautiful heart. When I tune into people, I feel, you all know I have clairaudient, clairsentient. I'm really highly sensitive. And so I can dial into people and really feel their gifts and their brilliance. And what I want to honor before we even start, and sometimes this stuff comes through and I'm like, all right, I have a plan for how I'm going to start this. And it's like, nope, this is what wants to come through right now. So I want to just honor you, Jen, because you really have such a servant heart. And as I was reading through some of what I want you to really just sit with me and receive that. Actually, that's what I'm feeling. Just receive that you are here for a big purpose, that God has so many big plans for you, that you have been so gifted with a big heart, a servant heart to heal, and you impact so many people just by your beingness, just by who you are. So I want to just really acknowledge you and thank you for coming on today to share your brilliance with everybody. Yeah. Yeah. What are you feeling?
Oh, you're the best at that. You can just speak to my soul every time we get together. We have this connection. It's beyond really describable. But from the beginning, we've just had
You're
this
going to make me
really.
cry.
Look, you made me cry already. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you just have a way of, I think, my story. We'll get into that a little bit
Yeah.
here, but just having this protection around my heart for so long in my life. You have a gift and a way of really speaking to people and like kind of breaking through that barrier, if you will, to really send your message. And I'm an empath. I know you are too.
Yeah.
So just like I can really feel into when you're sending that to me, I guess I always receive it. So thank you so much.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I really mean it. And I do, like, I'm able to really just dive into it's not even because I feel like, we have so many experiences as human beings, whether it's, abuse or trauma or whatever that might be. And so I see, though, the pure, like your
Mm,
soul. That is what I'm speaking to, is that part of you that can never be tarnished, that part of you
mm,
that, I know that I carried around so much shame and guilt about, like, oh, like I'm highly sensitive and all of this, all of those stories. Like when you really get to the root of a human being, I see your soul. I know how that, like, I don't know how that sounds, but that's really what I'm dialing into when I'm feeling into your specific gifts. So thank you for saying that and reflecting that back to me,
Mm-hmm.
because that's really what I see. And like, of course, we talk about like blind spots and blocks, and there's nothing wrong or bad, but I also see the brilliance behind the soul that I'm connecting with, that I'm talking with. And so yeah, I see a bunch of people joining here. Oh my goodness, Laura's on live with us. Yes. Did not expect to go right into that, but I wanted to just acknowledge you because it was so strong on my heart to just share how special you are and how many people you impact with this work. That, and I love this topic of what we're going to dive into today, which is The Body Keeps Score. And while I've never read that book, I can really feel into the gist of what we're going to be talking about. Hi, Laura. I love Laura. So we're going to be going live with Laura next week. She is my nervous system coach, changed my life, and she is incredible. And we're going to be going into that next week, all about fueling yourself as a founder. But that's stay tuned for that. That's more on next week's Facebook Live. But I'm really excited to see just all the people joining here, and I see Priscilla tagging people. So let's dive right in. I want to just, actually, before we do that, I always like to just say, if you're new to this Facebook group, because I know we had a ton of new people join, you are in for an experience. This is a community of heart-centered healers who genuinely want to make an impact in the lives of their patients. And I started this movement. It's really a God-given download and a vision for healthcare to empower the healer in healthcare so that you're really unlocking those gifts that Jen and I were just talking about, because you have innate God-given talents and gifts and spiritual gifts, I believe, as well, that you can bring and infuse and turn your gifts to gold, because God already made you with that blueprint that now I hope to water you, just like a flower, like watering you through encouragement and these type of trainings to help you evolve into the soul that you were meant to be expressed into this world as. And so this group is encouragement, inspiration. I do a lot of live trainings, but ultimately it's a remembrance of, this is who I am. This is my inner power that is waiting to be unlocked to really make an impact in the lives of others and my patients. Because when you're empowered, you are the light for so many other people. And that's truly how we create a domino effect in the world of healing. So that's really what this show is all about, is I bring on amazing healers like Jen, who, I can tell my story and maybe like you resonate with certain parts of it, but I want Jen and these other amazing healers to come on and share about their brilliance, their story, because I don't know it all. I don't pretend to know it all. I am not perfect. I am just Christina. And so I want to bring in these different people that can maybe spark something in you. And maybe you're like, oh my gosh, I need to connect with Jen. I need to have her on my podcast. I need to hire her, whatever that is. So we're really expanding opportunities in this group as well. So with that said, I want to introduce our guest today. So I'm just going to read, I have my computer up over here. I'm going to read her bio and just her bio of brilliance that just came through. So let's learn a little bit more about Dr. Jennifer Bourgeois, right? Am I saying it correctly?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Fellow with the American Institute of Stress, is an integrative health pharmacist specializing in nutrition and functional medicine. She's the CEO of Well and Free, I love that, and founder of the Stressed Mom Transformation, where she helps busy working moms optimize health and upgrade well-being with proprietary protocols. Dr. Jennifer has over 15 years of experience in the health and wellness industry. She's also a best-selling author and has been featured in Pharmacy Times, Drug Topics, Very Well Family, Health.com, and MJH Life Sciences, as well as numerous podcast episodes. In addition to her professional roles, I love this so much, Dr. Jennifer is the founder of a nonprofit, A New View, that recycles and repurposes used eyeglasses. So we'll go into a story about that, but I just want to say, how could, like, those two paragraphs just show so much of who you are. And again, back to the servant heart of how God is using you to really impact so many other people. So I'm just going to open up the floor. What do you want to talk about first? Because there's so many things I could piece apart from that intro.
Oh, thank you. Well, I first want to just say thank you to you. Thank you for creating the space for us to be here, to have the conversation. I adore you. I adore your work. Just from the beginning, I have felt this true connection to you and all the time that you and I spent together and your mentorship, you know, you really coaching me to overcome so many things. So I just feel like I need to start by just really honoring you to say thank you so much for what you do and having me on and just having this conversation.
Oh, and I'm just going to take a moment and receive that in my heart because I definitely feel that. And thank you for saying that so much.
You're welcome. You're
Mm.
welcome. And I think both of us just every time we talk, I think that the conversation just naturally has this ebb and this flow of sort. And I think with you talking about the nonprofit and the opportunity there, I founded that based on a diagnosis from that my daughter received, and so
Wow.
um, I think you and I both have this in common in our stories is that as we continue to face challenges and adversities and struggles, we take that as an opportunity to grow and as an opportunity to expand so that we can serve through that specific situation. And so,
Right.
with my daughter, she had this diagnosis at the age of 1, several different vision impairments that have since, you know, taken us on this journey with her surgeries and
Yeah.
glasses and patching and everything. And so, it was a time when I had to make a decision. Was I going to allow this circumstance to define me and her and our future? Or were we going to allow this to be an opportunity for us to create something, a way to give back, a way to serve people? So we just, out
Wow.
of just really a passion in my heart, I just developed this or founded this nonprofit, and it's super simple. We just collect used eyeglasses, and we have a joint partnership with the Lions Club, who already does a phenomenal job nationwide. They have all the programs in place to take these. They have recycle centers. They actually do the work to repurpose. They ship out to usually a lot of mission
Hmm.
organizations that go overseas. So, but yeah, we've taken it on. We've collected close to 4,000 pair of
Oh
eyeglasses
my
over
goodness.
about 5 years, and so it's just been a blessing.
Wow.
It's really been a way for me to show my daughters, um, you know, to kind of model and give this example of there's going to be things in life that aren't really what we planned
Yeah.
and are going to be hard, but we have the choice. We can choose how we show up. We can choose what we do with that circumstance. And so it's been fun to watch them as they get older. You know, they're really involved. They do the
No.
sorting.
Oh my
They pick up
God.
the glasses. Yeah. So it's been
Yeah.
really cool.
Oh my goodness. We'll talk about empowerment. I mean, what a great gift to show, like you said, being the change for your daughters and to just show them, um, really anything can be turned into an opportunity. Like, I know so many people, and especially with our own healing journey, taking that and seeing it as, wow, how can I actually extract the lessons, extract okay, like what am I learning through this? What are the strengths and the things that God is cultivating within me? Like there are a lot of things, even in business, that I'm like, like what's happening right now? Like there's a flashcard of maybe there's a hater or there's someone else that comes in or there's these different things that happen. And so seeing it from a higher perspective of, okay, that person's triggering something within me, or this situation is triggering something in me. And of course, feeling the feeling, we never want to bypass the feeling it, and then saying from a higher perspective, like, what is God cultivating in me right now? Is it patience? Is it forgiveness? Is it something else that actually will strengthen our character? And that's what I'm hearing from your story. And thank you so much for sharing it, because I mean, how many people need glasses that maybe can't afford it? I actually found, because my dad had a pharmacy, and there was always people losing their glasses at the pharmacy, and so we had a lost and found. It was a little basket, and I was like, I want to do something with these glasses. I'm not just going to throw them out. So I forget how old I was. I was probably like 18 or something, or going through pharmacy school. And I Googled, like, how do we donate all of these glasses? And it was called New Eyes for the Needy. So I packaged them up and I shipped them out. And then I think they sent me like a thank you letter or something. But I did that recently too, I think a couple of years ago, because I sometimes, like, I have Warby Parker glasses that are super old. I'm like, let me, and I actually put out on Facebook. So it reminded me of that. But again, it just shows, like, even like reading the bio and now understanding the story just shows again the depth of your servant heart. Like, just goes back to the what I said from the beginning,
Thank
which I
you.
really love. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Thank
So
you.
yeah, well, now we know about, so tell me the names of your two daughters.
Annabella and Lily Kate. Annabella is my
Uh-huh.
oldest, so she's 10 now. And she is the one that at the age of 1 was diagnosed with vision impairments. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Annabella and what was the
Lily Kate.
Lily Kate. Oh, oh
Yes.
my goodness. So they're playing with
I'm
their iPad in the other room,
yes.
right?
Yeah. No, they're not anymore, but they were.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. We had to
yeah.
shut that down for Wi-Fi purposes.
Oh, tell them we'll give it back to them soon. So I want to really dive into, we're kind of, I feel like I'm excavating like the jewels and the gems of you, like all of your brilliance. And so we know that you have a servant heart, that you're here to, make a huge impact and on your family, right? Like, those are the immediate people that get the benefit of you really being an empowered healer. I want to talk about your business and your patients. So tell me a little bit more about wherever you want to start, like
Okay.
whether it's, your own journey, or like
Sure.
what you're passionate about with your
Yeah,
business. Tell us a little bit more.
sure. I think just in what I was saying about life gives you these circumstances that you maybe didn't plan for. I think so many of us in this journey, this healers to healthcare journey, a lot of us have that same beginning. We found ourselves in a circumstance of sort that we didn't really plan for. Maybe it's fellow pharmacists who went to pharmacy school, got out in the workforce, started working, and realized, oh, wow, this job is not fulfilling. This isn't really what I thought it would be. And like me with my journey, I traditional trained, bachelor's in nutrition, doctorate of pharmacy, was so excited to change the world. Like, I was ready to be with my patients and help them and create transformation. And I got out in the field, community pharmacy, and I started working, and I was just disappointed in how many gaps there were in the healthcare system and in that current
Yeah,
model, and how
yeah,
I just found that there were just seemed like there were so many places that we could have done a little bit better. And so that really intrigued me into this integrative and functional side of medicine, and really kind of embracing this more holistic picture, understanding the body more, um, not just based on symptom diagnosis medication, but more root cause and what's happening. And so that's really kind of the start of how I dove off into the functional medicine integrative side. And then, of course, found myself in a really hopeless situation of sort. I had this chronic fatigue that I could not understand what was going on. I had just had my second daughter. Um, Found myself, like, I would come home and I literally could not get up off the couch. It was just this intense fatigue that I went to my doctor for 3 visits, no answers. Lab work was normal. And the option, was for me to continue to live on caffeine. And he mentioned antidepressant. And
yeah,
so it just really, my personal journey created that internal drive of sort to heal myself and better
yeah.
understand my body, and like, what is happening, what is going on, why am I so tired? And in my journey, I realized that there was so much divine orchestration around some of the things that I needed to heal from childhood,
Yep.
that I would have never, really addressed became so obvious
Hmm.
when I really started looking at the holistic view in this. The body keeps the score. So I like to say issues live in the tissues, but basically this mind body connection, and it just created this new found journey for me. Where I am now versus 5 years ago, I never expected to be here serving clients, helping, in the integrative side. I thought I would be in the pharmacy,
Yeah.
forever in that kind of traditional model. So it's been a really, I'm so grateful to have the journey and have found so much healing in where I am now, paying it forward. So I started my virtual practice last year where I support women, specifically busy moms, moms that are having a hard time with stress and being overscheduled, the busyness that we kind of create for ourselves as working women, really help them to optimize health. So
Yeah.
I provide different resources, different testing protocols that can really help support them and kind of propel them on their own journey of healing.
Wow. There's so much in what you just said. So, what I'm hearing, and it's related to the topic, is I find that so often our awakening to our greatness can come from physical symptoms, like you said before. It can come, divorce. For me, it was an eating disorder that, I was like, what's happening? Why am I not? I was looking at how we were taught in pharmacy school of like, okay, what's the root of disease? Well, nutrition, movement, like all of those other things. I'm like, okay, well, something's missing here. So trauma is a huge piece. And actually, part of the work that I now do with my clients is around the nervous system. So Dr. Stephen Porges developed this polyvagal theory where there are these different stages of, when your body's essentially kind of like a computer, right? And so when there are too many tabs open, you go down that, the top part of the ladder is ventral vagal. So it's safety, connection, everything's easy breezy, you're fine. Whenever you start getting a little bit overwhelmed, that's when you hit that second part of the ladder, which is the hyperarousal or sympathetic part of the branch, where there's a lot of that urgency, a lot of anxiety. You're putting more on your plate, even though your plate's already full. So there's a lot of that anxiety that comes through. Then what happens, and it sounds like where you might have been at, is that dorsal vagal, which is
Mm-hmm.
at the very bottom of the ladder, where your body is just so overwhelmed and there's too many tabs open. And that can be from past trauma, that, unresolved trauma, that can be from all of your responsibilities as a busy mom. But really, in that dorsal vagal and shutdown state is where you'll find like chronic exhaustion, extreme procrastination, and it's really your body trying to conserve energy. There is a freeze state, actually, that's a blended state between sympathetic and dorsal, which I find a lot of pharmacists live there, actually,
Mm-hmm.
where there's a lot of that overwhelm, overthinking, procrastination, perfectionism.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason why I'm sharing this is because your body is trying to tell you, hey, you're doing too much. There's something that needs to be healed, which is exactly what this whole conversation is about. And for me, I'm a pharmacist. I've done XYZ, all of these things. It wasn't until I healed my nervous system, and I'm still healing it and regulating it, that I was like, wow, I have actually never felt safe in my life, because that's really what the body's trying to do. It's like, well, let me keep you safe. And this relates to business too, because
Mm-hmm.
all of these self-sabotage mechanisms will come up when you are putting yourself out there, stretching yourself, having to have a difficult conversation with a client. And so the nervous system work really helps you to heal at the cellular level, because trauma lives in the body. And then from that place, then you can start working on the mindset, because the body informs the brain. So a lot of the mindset work that we might try to do with our patients might not work for them, because you're not getting to the root of okay, well, what is this nervous system response? And so as an
Absolutely.
example, and then I'll go back to you. I love talking about this. I'm
No,
like
I
so
love this
excited.
too.
Um, so as an example, you might have a patient that you're saying, hey, like, I need you to do these things. And they're like, and then you come back to them 2 weeks later. Oh, did you do those things? No. And you're like, why? Like, what's happening? Right. So this is what's happening is that these, our patients are experiencing this as well, where they have, all of these, I call them bowls in the pool, right? You have your nervous system capacity, which is the pool. And by the way, we're going to be talking about this tomorrow at the Turn Your Gifts to Gold event. This is what we talked about at the Healers in Healthcare conference, all about regulating the nervous system. Because what this does, when you increase the capacity, you're not you minimize overwhelm, you increase your resiliency, and you decrease levels of burnout. So when you start taking some of those bowls out of the pool, like obviously the bowls that are dedicated to your kids, you can't just throw your kids out of the pool. Like you still have to take them to dance and soccer practice and all of that. But where you can expand your capacity is maybe like the unresolved trauma, or working on certain things that allow you to attune more with, okay, what's really happening here. And again, I always like to say this too, nothing is wrong with you. I want to just really take a moment and have you sink into that. Nothing is bad or wrong if you have these patterns coming up, because I know even me, I'm like, oh my God, I'm in freeze. I'm in, it's like, it's okay. Your body's just trying to tell you, hey, you're doing too much right now. Can you take
Mhm.
something off your plate? Can you delegate or do something else? So I just think that this is such a great conversation. And yeah, I'll let you talk now. I just got so excited
Oh
about
my
the
gosh.
nervous system. Yeah.
I love it. That's my jam too, which I'm excited to hear Laura next week. But yeah, just like really understanding and how many different facets of physical health is tied back to what's going on with emotional and our mental well-being. And I also, just love the concept and really digging into how the body mind is connected. And the book, The Body Keeps the Score, that's really the basis of what it's
Yeah.
about. This guy, he did, I think, 30 years of work in the field. And so he brings a lot of that to the plate there in the book. But, just really understanding from a science
Yeah.
perspective how the body mind is connected. And it, again, it's so much nervous system regulation, the amygdala, the smoke detector, the part of our brain that is ready to perceive any stressful event. Is it real? Maybe or maybe not. That's we could go talk all day about how the mind could kind of hijack itself, right? Based on past trauma, based on limiting beliefs, blocks, all these different things can make our smoke detector
Yep.
go off, really easily. So when that happens and your body perceives a stress, a trigger, then your hormones or your cortisols,
Stress
and that nervous
chemistry.
system.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, here we go. And I also love, Peter Levine. I love the polyvagal. I mean, all of those things you're talking about are just total my
Yeah.
jam with this concept. But when you start digging into it, you really can, from a scientific perspective, you can start to connect the dots and see how physical symptoms,
Mm-hmm.
we can look at heart rate variability and pupil constriction and blood
Yeah.
pressure. For forever, I've always had low blood pressure, and I was like, proud of it. My blood pressure's so low, 90 over 50. And like when I started really learning about my body, I'm like, it's because my vagus nerve needs some support. That's like one sign, right? That we really need to strengthen that vagus nerve. And just talking about stress, I think that's one thing that as pharmacists and any healer in the healthcare setting, we can totally resonate with that concept of stress and the sympathetic nervous system activation. And it's like muscle work. If we are strengthening our sympathetic nervous system all day, right? We're stressed out. We, got this patient load. We've got these doctor calls. So many things on our plate. We're strengthening our muscle of our sympathetic nervous system, and we don't ever take time to strengthen the parasympathetic nervous system or that vagus nerve. So it becomes really weak, which is, again, we can see that with, if we do the pupil constriction test, if we look at heart rate variability, if we look at,
Yeah.
there's so many different scientific data points we can look at to say, is our patient showing signs of parasympathetic or nervous system dysregulation, where we really need to work on strengthening that vagus nerve. And
Yeah.
so that's
Yeah.
just one piece. And as I just really started geeking out in this area and really wanting to understand not just my body, but to help other clients, I dove into the kind of specialty, I guess, if you will, of mineral testing and really understanding how mineral presentation in the tissue is a direct reflection of what's happening in the body. And so there are so many different mineral patterns that can present in a person's body that literally tie back to whether it be trauma or stress. If I can tell
Wow.
you a story that is, it's my story, but it's so interesting. I set 7 years ago. So when my youngest, I was pregnant with her, I had recurrent urinary tract infections. And so if you haven't been pregnant before, every time you go to the doctor's appointment, your OB appointment, they want a urine sample and they check for bacteria. And so I continued to have this positive urine sample for bacteria.
Uh-huh.
Couldn't figure it out. So as soon as I had her, I got sent to a urologist, and I had to do some different scans and such. And so he did an x-ray, and it was like chest, to pelvic area to check out my kidneys. And we sat down and he was going over my results, and he was like, "You have so many calcifications in your tissue." And I was like, "Oh, what does that mean?" And he was like, "I'm really not sure why, but it happens where your body will precipitate or dump calcium in the tissue."
Uh-huh.
He didn't have an answer for me, but I had hundreds, and it was just these little white specks all over my x-ray. It looked just very strange. And so as I started studying mineral patterns and learning more about the body, we see that we will get high levels of calcium in the tissue when someone has past trauma. And
Yeah. Wow.
so it was this was before I had even opened up or began to talk about, my journey but when I learned it, of course, I was like, "Oh, wow,
That,
that's so
that,
parallel
yeah.
for, what I walked through." But I see that, and it's something, as I find that on a client's test, I can kind of inform them and interpret that and help them understand, like, this is what your body is saying to you. This is where you are. That's
Wow.
kind of part of my work, is just helping clients understand their body. What is your body saying to you? What do you
Yeah.
need?
Yeah, and from a place of just this, I always say gentle curiosity, right? Because I
Mm-hmm.
think that especially when people get diagnosed, there's also all of these thought forms and like shame and guilt and the
Mm-hmm.
label, like, oh, I have diabetes or I have this or I have that. And
Yeah.
so, and I know that you come from this perspective too of just, let's just bring this gentle awareness to what's happening right
Mm-hmm.
now. And
Mm-hmm.
my coach, my Laura, my nervous system coach, Laura, always says, "Christina, this makes so much sense." And it almost just allows my body to be like, okay, this is okay that this is
Yes.
happening. And it makes sense because, of course, you have all of these things going on. You have past trauma, you have this. And so the fact that you have these ways of identifying,
Mm-hmm.
the data in these, high calcium deposits, whatever that was called, maybe the nervous system dysregulation,
Mm-hmm.
we want to be empowering our patients and saying, hey, listen, this is what's happening, but I want you to know that, number one, this totally makes sense based upon the past, what you've experienced, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like even just hearing my voice, right? How it's like just that softness, that gentleness. And by you being in ventral vagal and being really connected with them, it's going to help them feel at ease as well.
Mm-hmm.
And just saying to them, this is what we're going to do. How does this sound to you? And coming from that place of just love and coaching and empowerment, I think is really the biggest gift that you can give your client is love and safety. So
Yes.
that's what we talked about at the conference too, you know, creating an environment of safety for your patients, whether that's you yourself with, like I just said, with your voice, or even environmentally, how can you set up a safe, supportive environment for them to heal, because they can't heal if they're under stress. So that's really a huge part of this too.
It is. And I can't tell you how many clients cry during our consultation session because it's so freeing for them to have someone be able to connect the dots and say, like, just like you said, here's maybe what's happening, here's maybe why. Don't lose hope, like just being that, holding that space for them, which I know is something you do so well, but just really giving them hope, but giving them answers. Because for so many people, they have kind of empty-handedly, came back from consultations with providers with no
And
answers.
that's
They've gone
traumatic.
seeking,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and they've lost hope. So it's really, I think it's emotional for them because it's maybe that they have found hope again, or that
Yeah.
you're creating, this kind of hopeful moment of, wow, now that we can better understand your body and what it's saying, then that just allows us to kind of create a more clear plan to move forward.
Right.
And I don't have all the answers, but it's a way for me to say to them, then, here's areas where we can work, here's some
Yeah.
places where you can begin to really show up for yourself. But I love what you said about, just being that kind of safe place for them, because I think so many people are looking for that.
And think about how many people, like, think of the people that, you know, are like rushing around, right? And so like when we actually are attuning with a client and connecting with them, and there's no distraction, there's no anything, like how many people can you honestly say you have that with, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
even with my own husband, I'm like, get off your phone, right? So when people feel fully seen and heard, it's like, of course they're gonna like, yeah, like, oh my gosh, I'm being
Mm-hmm.
seen, I'm being witnessed, what I'm going through makes sense, she gets me. That's the
Mm-hmm.
healing that can't be maybe measured,
Mm-hmm.
but to me, I feel that the love that you give and that you exude through your beingness is the greatest gift that you can give somebody. So all of
Agree.
those things are intangible, but it's the most powerful medicine that you can give anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So
And something you do so well. You do so well. And um, if it's okay if I share, but I had the opportunity to work with Christina, as my coach, and as I started on, just kind of as I've shared, as I started on my healing journey, on my kind of physical health transformation that I knew I needed based on this chronic fatigue, what I discovered when looking holistic and really being open to see the root cause of, where I was. Some of that was stress and some of that was past trauma. And of course, the past trauma made me very dysregulated and much easier to excite when in stressful times. So, I was just had this awfully dysregulated nervous system. But it was in that journey that I really uncovered that I needed some help working through these blocks and these limiting beliefs. And as Christine and I worked together, some of the purpose of it was, of course, I was an entrepreneur and I did have goals to grow my business and really serve women on a larger scale. But it was really about me getting real with myself and just being open to heal those old wounds, those 30 plus year old wounds from childhood that I had never been open to talk about or to work through. And so I just can't say enough how integral my time with you, Christina, was in where I am now, and not just personally, but also like my business, and, being able to now serve women and have, consistent client flow. And I know that I couldn't be here if I hadn't done the work, and if I hadn't, been real with myself and just, I guess, embraced where I was, to say, like, I know it's divine, and I know the whole journey is purposeful, and that ultimately soul evolution is what it's all about for each of us, in this lifetime that we're here, is to really evolve into that soul being, that we are, the spiritual people in this physical body. And so just really thank you for being that safe place for me, and just allowing me. You taught me so much, obviously, but I think the one thing that was so stood out to me about you is just how great you are at holding space for people and creating that safety and that non-judgmental place to just come and grow and share. And so I think, if you're watching this, and if you're in this group, and, kind of tapping into healers and healthcare, just don't miss what Christina has here in this platform, and all the different ways she shares and she gives and she pours, because, she's just full of goodness, and like so many amazing things I feel like you have to give, that you know, continue to, pour out into us. But I want you to know, from my personal me, from Jennifer, you know, you've just given me so much, and I wouldn't be here without you. And so I'm just so grateful for your mentorship and your guidance and what you do for people in this space. And I feel like when we work together, your platform and your messaging was how to help women kind of scale and advance in business. And yes, you did that for me, but you also really helped heal some major wounds in my body and in my life. So I love
Oh
you
my
so much.
gosh. Good thing this is recorded, because I need to like rewatch it to really let it sink in. I am just so beyond grateful to that you felt that, because that's what I want people to feel. I want them to feel safe. And I'm honored that people trust me with like the deepest parts of them. Their trauma. I mean, I know so many things about so many people, and I'm just like, I'm not ever going to repeat this. And like, thank you for sharing it with me, because I'm just so honored and humbled that, I, can hold space for people, and that they feel safe. And that's really what this is about. Like, of course, yeah, it's about growing your business, but I feel people come to me really for that deep inner healing. And I want people to walk away with their heart burst open, to know that they have so many gifts to give. Because I really believe that God put gifts into each of us, and it's like we're looking outside for the treasure, but the treasure is in here.
Mm,
And so my goal is to help people really unlock that. And you have that within you. Like I said, I see it so clearly in people. And so it's, kind of teasing that out of them and being like, hey, look at this, look at what you have.
mm-hmm.
And when you said about, how much I pour, like I pour like so much just love and time and energy intentionally into this group, into my platforms, because I really want to see people win. I want to see people shine and create that domino effect of healing in the world. And so to have that acknowledged is really just like amazing.
Well, it's true. I think it's just, it's something, just like you said, it's just something about you in here that just resonates with people. And it's a gift. It's your gift. That's your gift. Yeah, it's your gift for sure. And I mean, you do so well. And with that. And you inspire us too. I mean, your fellow, healers in healthcare here, as we watch you do your thing and shine your brilliance. It obviously, like you said, that domino effect of inspiration to us to be like, okay, let's do
Yeah.
it too,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you for that.
You're
This is about
welcome.
you. This is like your show.
I know, but I have to be honest to say, I think I've always been that person that like we don't get to where we are alone.
Yeah.
It's about the journey, and there's so many people that are intentionally placed on our path, for reasons. Maybe we help them, maybe they help us. You never know, but it's true. Like I can't shine my brilliance without acknowledging that you helped me find it. Like you helped me unlock it, because I think it was hidden. There were so
Yeah.
many, blocks around where I was and limiting beliefs. And so being able to clear that and have compassion with myself, connect back into my love place, and really ground in and center in love. Man, that's really been such a pivotal piece of my success in my business. I know that, and in my life.
Yeah, no, that's just like music to my ears. I'm so grateful. And yeah, I can't wait to just watch you continue to, impact the lives of others. And, we'll have you back on the show and we'll do a little like, where are you now?
Yeah,
So that you're
I love that.
just continue to grow and evolve. And yeah, is there anything else that you wanted to share about? Because I know we're like, oh my gosh, I didn't expect that. That's the beauty of this, right? Like we
Yes.
leave space for the magic because you just never know what's going to happen.
Absolutely. And again, that's what I have always loved about our connection, is that it seems like every time we do connect and have conversations, there's so much kind of downloading, or,
Yeah,
like as you call it, but like the divine part that just happens and things just are said, that I feel like there's people that are watching this and it's very purposeful. They need this message. There's something in our conversation today that will definitely touch them and inspire them. And I think my best advice, just, as we wrap up here and knowing the purpose of the show, healers in healthcare. And yes, it's always wonderful when you get to talk about yourself and you talk about your journey. But we're the same, Christina and I both, we really do love people. We want to see people succeed. And so if there's anything that resonated with you in my story, I'm an open book. I'm
yeah,
happy to connect and, be of support to you, as you expand in your own genius and as a healer in healthcare. And so please feel free to reach out and connect and send me messages or emails. I'll answer all of those,
thank you.
if you have that. And then if you feel like that you want to connect and have some support, maybe learn more about your body, your minerals, your hormones, whatever that is, I'm here for you in that capacity too. But just don't lose hope wherever you are, whether you're in the business side or personal, you're resonating with the message about health, or you're resonating with the message about trauma work, or whatever it is. Like it's like Christina said, it's purposeful where you are. All of it you'll have your moment where you look back and you're like, oh, it all makes sense now.
Yeah.
My moment about my x-ray and my calcium, and just, I mean, you have those moments where you're on the right path and you're going the right way. And so, yeah, I think that's what I would want to just make sure everybody watching knows.
I love that. And that's such of course you would say that because I see you as such a light. And so it's like, don't lose hope. That's what I heard you say. And it's like you are that light for other people in your community so that they're not feeling powerless or hopeless or like, where do I turn for answers? You're giving, holding space for them and giving them options and different ways that they can heal their body. And I think that's just amazing. And I know that you are a pioneer in our space, because there's not many people yet talking about nervous system work and all of these different ways that, trauma is an integral role of healing. And so I just want to say I am just beyond proud and supportive of you for bringing this even further out into our, into the healthcare space as well. So Yeah, we will drop your link. I think
Okay.
you had a link. Was it to book a call with you, or just tell us, Priscilla will drop it for you in the
Yeah.
comments here.
I, I think the link is just to find out more. So
Oh,
I think it's
perfect. Okay.
to my website, and so you can learn more about what I do specifically. And yes, there's options. I have a complimentary call, and then a paid consultation, and then of course some testing services. But connect with me because I have my Instagram linked on my website,
Yeah.
where I provide a lot of free content and value there. So you can direct
And
message me
yes,
or email.
reels. I like your reels.
I try, girl.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing, but I
Yeah.
try to be relevant. So,
Oh, of course
sometimes,
you are.
yeah.
No, this is such a great conversation. Make sure you connect with Jen. We're going to be, like I said, we'll definitely bring you back on the show in the future, and just please, yeah, connect with her. She is a wealth of knowledge and just such a sweetheart. So yeah, we are so excited you came on today. And one last announcement before I forget, because we're going to hop off here in a minute. The Turn Your Gifts to Gold call is tomorrow, because I got like so swept up in this conversation. I'm like, wait, I was supposed to do something. So that was the thing. I was going to remind you about the call tomorrow. So it's a free call. If you're interested in that, just write in the comments, I'm in, and I'll invite you to the private Facebook group. But that's going to be a really powerful call as well. So it's going to be 6 to 7:30. We're going to be going over how to turn your gifts to gold, monetize your knowledge. We're going over some of the nervous system techniques that I'll be teaching about, and then we're going to be doing some fun networking, prizes. It's going to be like a whole just big party pretty much. So if you're down
Awesome.
for that and you want to join us, that would be great. Oh, perfect. Jennifer, yes,
Yes.
we'll invite you. Well, thank you so much, Jen. You are
You're
absolutely
welcome.
amazing. I'm going to send you a voice memo after this and just say
Okay.
thank you
Love
again.
you. Love you. Thank you
All
for
right.
having me. I'll
Love
see you
you.
tomorrow night.
All right. Bye.